where we're talking about fit for purpose. That's what Michael is discussing today. It's a deep conversation. I've seen some people here from the US and from Canada. Somebody
French side, because
yes.
I have my French family.
Yes.
I worked in France.
Yes.
I worked with French companies.
Yes.
So I learned how to deal
Yes.
with this.
Yes.
And so it's and now especially this past years working for Sheraton Group, it's more like Anglo-Saxon approach of hospitality.
Yes.
So this also, so all these dimensions are very important. So it's knowing people, knowing the culture, the different generations you deal with. It's a very important.
Yeah.
It became more and more because the gap between generations have changed.
Yeah.
I would say, or I mean, people that analyze the market trends,
Yes.
how things go. Before, a generation gap would be 10 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Now it's shorter.
Yeah. It is a CEO Bench. My name is Niyitegeka, Michael Niyitegeka in the studio, and we're discussing repurposing education for what it means to be or what it's supposed to be. In summary, I'm not even going to use much English to to try and bring this around. Michael, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Michael, we're in the last part of the show, and we just want to learn from you. A bunch of questions we're reading online are all coming as a result of people actually asking a question, where do we start from? I have a very interesting comment here on Messenger. Niyitegeka, thank you very much for bringing Michael back to the program. I'm loving this thing. I stayed up late to wait for this program to come. I wanted to hear what Michael would say about his thoughts on education system as a man who has been there. My name is James. I live and work in Canada. Michael has quoted something very important. When you come to Canada and you look at the education system in Canada and you go back to Uganda and look at what we have, they are completely two different worlds altogether. In my view, Makerere University and any other university in Uganda needs to start bringing people from the Kwagalana group who have businesses, running serious business downtown there, to come and give the lecturers in Makerere University lessons. Or they should be given master's degree because they are teaching business administration and these guys are really practicing business administration and building. It is a disparity and a failure on our side to actually have a professor teaching what they have not practiced. These guys run business. A professor is teaching a business he has never been able to manage. How do we bridge the gap? Michael can help us throw more light in that.
Like I said, you see, education has, the ultimate goal of education is to expose you to approach.
Yes.
The guys in Kwagalana group are doing it.
Yeah.
But they may not give you a structure of how they are doing it.
Yes.
And what is that, and that should be the difference, that somebody who, and that's why people like Mandela, City Oil, are able to hire experts to come and run his business. He understands what he wants. He has certain principles, but Mandela is not going to the kitchen. Mandela wants the business to run. He wants the people that come to the restaurant to have a quality of service. And I think we should be asking ourselves the question, why are we seeing more Indians, and I have no problem with Indians.
In the
hospitality business.
And it used to be Kenya. Eh?
Yeah, but he told me, he said, look, the reason why I have these people is that because first they listen. Number two is when they do work, they do it with everything that it takes.
Yeah.
Because they understand that their growth depends on my growth as a business.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So the guys who are teaching tourism and hospitality at university need to spend time with
Amos Wekesa, for example.
Okay,
and
so
tourism business.
People like Amos Wekesa, they don't need to take over the jobs of the lecturers.
Yeah.
The lecturers need to spend time with Amos Wekesa
To understand.
to understand and contextualize their delivery.
To fit the need.
Yes, the reason why at Refactory we have a 93% placement rate is simply because we have spent time with the guys in industry. Some of the people that are teaching on our programs don't have a degree, but they have on their belt projects they have delivered and executed. And so there's room for us to coexist. And that's one thing I really want to emphasize. There's room for us to coexist. There's room for universities to open up and education institutions to open up and say, you know what? We are going to focus on X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
How do we make this place a place for you?
Yeah.
So how do I tap the knowledge of Kwagalana? What the universities need to be doing is doing case studies.
Yeah.
And that's why Harvard Business Review, Harvard has what they call Harvard Business Review.
Yeah.
They spend time in industry.
Yeah.
And then they document that, and that's how they transmit knowledge. I have failed to understand why we don't have that very many case studies in Uganda being taught in business school.
Maybe because we don't have the infrastructure that allow us.
What infrastructure do we need, Eddie? To
But
go
by the
and
way,
spend time,
yeah.
rather than teach about McDonald's,
Yeah.
I teach
About
CJs.
Yeah. Okay. Now I understand your point.
Why can't I write about Feed Right?
Yeah.
What is Feed Right doing?
Yeah.
About African food or even K2 restaurant?
Yes.
Like these are the scenarios. When I teach some of the modules that I teach, I give examples that are from Uganda, and people are like, what? I never looked at it from that direction.
Perspective.
Yeah. So I can talk about Coca-Cola. It's a brilliant product.
Yeah.
But there's this gentleman.
Horace International.
Yes.
Yes. With
their rock. Is it Rock Boom?
Rock Boom. Yes.
Rock Boom is a case study, boss.
Yes.
It
It is.
It should be a case study.
It is. I was counseling a young girl, and who recently got a problem, and she got a sort of like a mild stroke, and I was wondering, and the discovery to her was, I'm using a lot of Rock Boom. So I asked why. He says, because the first time I drank the Rock Boom, something about it, and since then I have been drinking too much. I'm like, there's too much caffeine.
Yeah. So okay. So there's that aspect around it.
Yes.
But there's also a business aspect.
Yes.
There's something that he has discovered.
Yes.
That has made him sell the product in the quantities that he is selling.
Which is exactly what, in essence, what the girl was saying. And we don't know what it is.
Thank you.
Yes.
So what we need
Yeah.
is, as academician,
Yes.
to spend time
Yeah.
with those guys, understand, document what we have understood from them,
Yeah.
and then transfer that knowledge to our students.
Classroom, yeah.
Because then you're contextualizing.
Yeah.
80% of the case studies that we have are not here.
They're not fit for our industry.
Can't even relate.
Yeah.
Because they are from textbooks or materials that we've picked online.
Wow. I was recently teaching, coaching Michael just not very long ago, about a week ago. And I had this, I had the privilege and opportunity to teach transformational leadership, which is at the core of my heart. It's something I really love. It's something I've invested a lot of time doing research. So I was giving examples of some of the leadership styles and the leadership, behavior to make them understand. And I remember in one of the classes last week, was a 2-day class in a big organization in Uganda. In fact, about 3 of them. And one person stood up and asked me, this is a leader, and said, how do you go in to get this kind of information, yet we're in the industry and we're always having research and development? Since even we have information being released by people like Ipsos and all these guys, but yet for you are giving us context and we've never looked at it. Then I ask him, I says, but the context is right in front of you. I mean, one of the examples I used was Bobi Wine versus Mzee Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and then Kizza Besigye versus Bobi Wine, and I used Kizza Besigye versus Mzee Museveni, and I gave them the context. And it was difficult for them to understand. And I was just trying to paint a picture of laissez-faire kind of leadership versus autocratic. And then I was trying to look at the transformative leadership approach versus a democratic leadership approach. They live within us, but it was difficult. So I realized, whereas some of us take time to study these things, and I am a collector of President Museveni's speeches, from I don't know how long, and whenever he speaks I go through it, then I make notes and I put these things, and I love listening to all these things. And then I realized that the research and development, the way he designed in Uganda, is absolutely very different. It gives a totally different information. Now, you've talked about it, and I want to ask a question, Michael.
Yeah.
How do we help Ugandans to start going deeply to say it is okay for you to use an example of Michael Niyitegeka and the Refactory case as a case study to move forward, to change and to repurpose the education system going forward, borrow from there? How do we get Uganda to think that? Because we're always looking for something, but we never want to see what is good and with us.
So Eddie, what I will say is it really goes back to how do we teach? Do we teach for discovery or do we teach for remembrance? When I teach for discovery, the way I will deliver content will be totally different from the way I teach for remembrance. When I teach for discovery, I'm a facilitator. I'm a facilitator of learning. I facilitate you to learn. When I teach for remembrance, I teach you how to make the coffee. And the instance is, remember, this is how you
go do this coffee.
Yes.
Here. Yes.
When I'm facilitating you, I see what you're doing, I then correct you.
Okay. Very tongue twisting, very brain.
But that's the essence. So technically, what needs to happen? We all need to change from being teachers to facilitators.
Okay.
And that shift is massive. For it to happen and for it to be effective, it means that you, Eddie, needs to empower the student to take charge and step back.
Which is not usually a very good case for Eddie Okila to step back easily, because I am very invested in this thing.
It's authority. It's about power. It's about authority. When I step in class, I come with authority. When I step back, someone else is taking over.
Authority. So in summary,
I think to bring this whole thing to a close, my take is that, and I would really want to appeal to the lecturer, the teacher, and say, we don't have to wait for the education system to change. We can choose to teach what we teach differently. And for me, that's what I decided to do, even in the systems that there were. When I was in Makere, my classes, I was very intentional on how I taught my classes. I opted to be a facilitator as opposed to a lecturer. 2, I allowed co-learning. We learn together. I am not the epitome of knowledge. If you have learned something and you think it's beneficial, let's share it. That's the second thing, that come to the realization that knowledge is not housed in one brain. Knowledge is God is gracious. Each one of us has a portion of knowledge about some of the things. When you trigger people to go and search, they will go. When you trigger people to sit back and depend on you, they will sit back. I'll say, trigger people to go and search.
Wow.
You will teach the same things, but the outcomes will be different. My final shot to those of us that are very passionate about education and want to change, when it is so painful with what you're doing, you'll do what I'm doing at Refactory. You'll choose to go against status quo. And I hope history will judge you fairly. When that time comes, I can say, yeah, I've trained about 300 people at Refactory. We've trained about, it's not only me, we've trained about 300 people at Refactory. We have about an average of about 70 to 83% placement. I can say I'm happy. I'm a very happy person because I know for a fact that the current placement rate for fresh university graduates is below 10%. So for me to be at 83%, yeah, I feel I can walk on the clouds, but I won't. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And so each one of us has an individual responsibility for those of us that are in the education space.
Yeah.
And hopefully, each one of us can then create that summative change that we need to see.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Michael, for first of all blessing us with your presence and accepting the nomination from our people to come back. I know it's not been an easy journey for you, being a very busy person and what you're doing.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you so much, and we want to say thank you for, coming to the program today. And if we ever reached out to you because there's a need for you to come back,
no problem.
We hope that you'll be able to actually accept to come back. Personally, from us here at House of Talent, and of course from everyone out there, we want to say thank you.
Pleasure.
It's been a great learning of a lot of things we didn't know from you on the show. From a host perspective, it's been a great moment to have you on the show. And to all you guys out there who have been, with us on the CEO bench and continue to be part of the CEO bench family, growing bigger and better, we want to say thank you so much. The great learning from Michael today, takeover, is to teach people to be able to research. Teach people to be able to research. That's teach people and step back and give them responsibility and see if they will do it and just correct them. But don't always be the frontline person and you are the know-it-all, the elephant in the room. When you are there, nobody says anything, you're not moving forward. And of course, from the people in our education system, Michael has taught us one thing that is very important. Do research, think about people, look at what is in the market, look at what the market is looking for, and then be able to realign yourself to fit the need of the market. Other than that, we want to say thank you. And to Michael, we want to just, bump this and say thank you very much for coming. And we're wishing you and the team at the Refactory really a great one going forward. We're definitely going to become your student very soon. And yes, thank you very much to the crew and to everyone. It's a good night or good morning or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the show from. It's a wrap from us here. Michael and Eddie Okila signing out. How did you as a child, if you visibly remember, what did you want to be in life?
Well, if I go back, I think I looked at two things as a child. I thought about, I looked up to the skies and I'd see the stars and, see the airplanes flying over. And as I was there, with my dad, looking after the cows, or with my grandma going fishing, or with my grandpa farming, I'd look up and go, wow, what are those things up there? And then someone told me, that's a space station. Go, okay, interesting. And what else is up there? Well, those are stars, and those are airplanes. I thought, well, it would be great, to figure out how those things work. Yeah. And so I guess that was one interesting, passion of mine as a little kid. Figuring out how aerospace vehicles work, and I guess that wasn't something which excited me a lot.
Wow. You said the two things. So how did you end up there? You were fishing with your grandmother, you mentioned, and farming with your father, and grazing with your grandfather. Why were you not able to pick one of these from these, three different distinct people, and then you ended up in the things that are up in the sky with all this interest? What was the motivation like? Was somebody an aerospace engineer? Was somebody thinking about the things up, or it just came to you?
It's, back then, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't have mobile phones. We didn't even have phones, yes. Or television. We just had nature, and that was great, And we had stories around the campfire, around the hearth every evening. Yeah. We'd sit down and talk to each other. We lived quite close to national parks, so every now and again a lion would hop over and grab a cow and go and have supper as well. So we shared with the lions. So it was being at one with nature. Yeah. But what was important in all that was, allowing one's mind to imagine, allowing one's mind to run, to fly, to really go as far as one's mind could possibly go. Yeah. And if I think of looking at things from the space going down, I could still look down and figure out what's going on, on the fishing side. I could look at what's going on the farming side. I could look at what's going on the grazing side, because when you're up there, you can see everything. Yeah. But it also helps you appreciate how special the earth is. Yeah. So that's I'm most grateful for that natural environment, that any kid in a rural village in Uganda or any other part of Africa right now has that, where you see every star. And I believe there is something special about that.
Good afternoon. My name is Felix Eopao. The show is Slam Dunk Basketball. It is a brilliant day for the basketball lovers out there, because competitive basketball is back. The lower division, Division 1 and Division 2 games have been going on today at the Nakasero Primary School basketball courts. And in studio today with me is Pai Kamoga, the General Secretary of the Lower Division Management Committee. For the basketball lovers out there in Uganda, unfortunately, the National Basketball League is not ongoing. It was halted because the number of teams which were supposed to register were not able to register. 8 teams were supposed to register, and by the deadline, worrying that it is going to be run up to the end.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to appreciate the Federation, FUBA, for giving us the mandate and opportunity to run the lower league basketball under the committee of LLMC, lower league management committee, which was founded in 2018, and really had a successful first year, 2018. A really successful second year, 2019. Then COVID happened, 2020. We didn't play basketball. 2021, 2020, 2021 we are back. We're going to play basketball, and we've been having a couple of meetings with our managers, you know, stakeholders, and see how we can resume the league under the government directives. Yeah.
The issue of continuity and teams being certain, the managers of different teams being certain that the lower division, now that it is ongoing and it has started, is going to actually run to the end, and also not reach a point whereby there will be an extraordinary meeting and it will be put on pause. What measures have been put in place?
Yeah, we had planned for this season, 2021. Teams are training, teams are hyped up, people are eager to play the league. Then as we started, another lockdown came. The second wave came, and the president put us on hold for the sports, industry. So we guys went in sleep mode. Then as the government was trying to ease the the directives, we said to engage our managers and the players and say how best can we continue with this league. Yeah, we had then the federation gave chance to people to confirm their participation on how we can, in case they're interested to play, they should confirm participation. And we are lucky, out of the 45 teams that we have in the lower league, we had nine confirmation Division 1.
9 confirmations out of 45 teams.
9 confirmation. Division 1 has 16 teams.
Yes.
And 9 confirmed participation in this resumption. Then Division 2 has 11 teams and 9 confirmed participation. Yeah. Then the girls were 9 and only 4 confirmed participation. So which was below the threshold of 8 teams. So their league was automatically cancelled. Though at the end of the season, end of the year, they will compete table standings.
How will the girls compete?
The girls, where we stopped. In case the league didn't resume, we shall follow the standings of last season.
Oh, the standings of last season are the ones that will be followed.
Yeah.
Depending on the number of games played, games won, games lost.
Yes.
Okay. So coming on to one of the key issues to very many basketball lovers in Uganda here, the cancellation of the National Basketball League, because City Oil, KIU, JKL pulled out. Now the reason for City Oil pulling out, according to their chairman Muhammad Santur, was because they are in preparation for bar.
Yeah.
That was
it should be a must. So probably that, for me, in my opinion, that would have been the best thing. Let the people in charge find ways of the league happening. But you see, with the few resources the basketball people have, they're unable to. And NBL is fine, expensive to run, and they wouldn't have so many sponsors that this season, and there's no money to run to finish the league, and the teams are also struggling to finish the league. But as I've told you, it should have been a must for you to play, and then find ways of playing, like the way the lower leagues have said to play. They want to play.
There was a requirement prior to recalling back the league of each team in the NBL paying 600,000 Uganda shillings, and the teams were actually very ready to pay that.
Yeah.
However, these other three decided not to do that, because I believe that money would have helped FUBA in terms of facilitation and in terms of the operation fees to run the league. Yeah. So what picture does that give our league?
The teams have the authority to decide to play or not, which for me, I don't believe in that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Team must play. But now, if the directive came from the EXCOM that for you to play, for the league to continue, there must be 8 teams. And only 6 confirmed, 5 confirmed?
There were 6 that had confirmed.
Yeah, so we should
go. They gave a deadline of the other Monday. Yes.
So if there are a threshold of 8 teams, then automatically the league had to be cancelled. I just left UPDF person, a security person there, not to let anyone into the venue. So they had to manage, the venue, not to allow fans, and probably show some games on our social media handle for the Football Division 1 and 2 Basketball League.
Yeah, because those were some of the reasons as to why National Council of Sports stopped our league.
Yes. Because
we were not following the SOPs.
Absolutely.
Yes, when you came to UCU grounds or KIU, Kansanga courts, fans were being let in, other people are being let in, people are not having masks on.
Absolutely.
And what? Yeah. And then only the temperature gun at the gate. So is that going to be followed?
I mean, we have to comply with what NCS wants of us. We have tested yesterday, Thursday and Friday. We tested our players and officials who are going to play this weekend. Yeah, we should be testing every 14 days. Yeah, actually, they want us to test every week, and we're finding ways to discuss with NCS and also with our medical commissioner on how we can achieve that. But as we tested on Thursday and Friday,
it means that Warriors Basketball Club and Sharing Basketball Club, which had pulled out due to different reasons and circumstances, are now eligible and back in the league because we're going back to the 2019 season. Now, what happens to the teams that are going to get promoted from Division 1?
Yeah, after...
As managers, have you discussed it?
Yeah, the Federation has tried to put us together, call for meetings, the managers discuss the way forward. Yeah, now for the NBL, yeah, there won't be any relegation. So the 2019 teams that were participated will stay in the league.
Will stay in the league
the next season.
That is according to the meeting that you had as managers. And
of course,
stakeholders.
The letter came out, and the rules came out. The special rules for running this special league in COVID. Yeah. Teams confirmed participation. A few teams confirmed, others didn't confirm. But now to satisfy both ends, yeah, we said okay. The federation said there won't be any relegation. Yeah, because even the lower leagues were like, if the guys cannot allow to be relegated, then what will happen to us who are fighting for promotion? So like okay, no relegation in NBL, but there will be promotion from Division 1. Which means next season, 2022, there will be more teams.
We'll be having 12 teams.
12 teams plus.
Because the finalists are the ones that, according to the regulations, the finalists get...
We're not at their level yet, but I know we can be because their preparation is very thorough and they really do invest in the youth basketball and take their time to nurture the teams that are coming for the tournament. So in that area, we're lacking because we have the talent, but the preparation for the tournaments is what needs to be worked on.
So we basically have the skill and the talent.
Yeah.
We just need to prepare better.
Contribute in terms of, let's say, registration fees.
Yeah. Every year come up with a budget. Every season we come up with a budget. We sit the managers down. This is our budget. We approve it. So they approve the team. We say how much money each team can pay. Division 1 they're paying 1.2 million. Then Division 2 are paying 1.1 million. Then the girls are paying 1.5 million shillings each team. So
the girls are paying 1.5.
Yeah. So that money is meant to run the league. Yeah, officiation, venues, all the things. Yeah, that I'm telling you, self-sponsored, and we are unable to play home and away because this league is fun. That's why it makes it fun. Those days we used to have home and away.
Yeah.
Home and away, but
now it's one game.
It's one game, round robin. So the best 8, go for pro playoffs. But lower league is the most unpredictable league in Uganda.
I've watched so many lower league games, and I would like to actually confess, even right now on air, that most lower league games are more interesting than even NBL games.
Though of course NBL is our elite league, but and there's also some data cream that side. But when it comes to competition, you gotta know that number 8 at the end of the season will make it to the finals.
But then you get surprised and you find
absolutely. The season Falcons got relegated in I think 2017, and they came down. They were number 7, but later on managed to be a finalist. That's how competitive it is, and that's what brings the vibe in the lower league. The fan base is very, very big, but as I've told you, the challenge is just finances. The moment we have money, some people come and support the committee. We go through a lot, looking for resources and the like. Then last year, I think 2019, before COVID came, we had one firm called Tickets to help us to market the league, get us sponsors, you know, and then handle all our social media handles. But currently they haven't gotten us. They're in talks to some big shots. What they've brought on board, but they're doing a good job. I would like to appreciate them. So what we've done is just source out people who can help us get sponsorship. I'm
trying to read here some of the comments which are coming in privately, and saying that the lower division games happen when there is no medical person on ground. Can Pi explain that?
That's not true. That's not true. Well, because on our budget, we budgeted.
I'm having a comment here from Mr. Derek Ruyombia. Yes, that games happen without medical personnel on ground.
Mr. David, as a matter of fact, we even budget for a medical officer on game day. And right now, as I've told you, I've been at the venue. I left our commissioner there, medical commissioner, Madam Linda, and her team. They're always there. So I don't know, probably you're watching a pickup game or a league game, but the league game, a medical personnel is always there. If maybe that day wasn't there, probably it was a mistake, but it's always there.
And then I have Dawood saying that what is the criteria of joining the lower division?
Wow, I've received so many questions in that regard. People want to join the league because I understand. Right now we have 13 teams in Division 2, and that's where you must start from. And then Division 1 has 16 teams. So right now the federation has put a cap, no more entry to the league unless they revise that. So in my position,
why is that cap there? I thought as the lower division.
That year I was pissed with my manager. He didn't tell me that he was saying so.
But in all honesty, it was not performing that that well. How many games did James Thomas play, and how many wins did they have?
I was the season of fighting, and we had last game against Night Riders at YMCA Lights. The crowd was crazy. That my best game of my moment. I mean, we had to win that game because of fighting relegation. So that's how competitive it is. Fighting for something, people don't want to go down, so they put in so much energy and psych. Yeah.
So there's some teams that are struggling, and how can they be helped coming from a management perspective?
As I've told you, the first thing we need to improve is our image. So we shall enrich the managers, the players with information and knowledge on how they can improve their brands. Yeah. Of course, I won't go out there look for sponsorship for probably a team, let's say Bakale or Livingstone. Yeah, but we shall empower the managers and the players and the coaches, give them knowledge, information. We have a coaches federation, so a coaches platform that empowers the coaches, the managers platform that enables managers to get information, improve their team. Recently, the TD Nick came up with the players association. So it's going to help us to improve people. At the end of the day, the team will grow.
The team gets to develop.
Yeah.
CEO Livingstone Basketball Club, team that has been there, team that has seen quite a number of storms and also avalanches and also good times. How is the team doing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm privileged to be the owner of that team, a team of pedigree. They've been there, done that, produced one of the best players in Uganda, Samuel Ball, you know, so many players from the university, University Hall. So currently, Livingston is playing Division 2, and the few things you have done, the changes you have made in the team. I recruited a serious coach, technical committee was all changed. I recruited a few young players and talented players. Probably they'll enable the team elevate to go to the finals. Yeah, and the teams that are in that division, please watch out. You're giving them a warning as the games go on. They'll rewatch the clip and they'll remind you. How have you been recruiting? Which criteria, what aspects have you been looking at to recruit these players for Livingstone Basketball Club? Yeah, I'm passionate about young talent. Yeah, because I've been there when I was the age of 20, 19, 21. I was
from. Yeah. But when it comes to discipline, that is also another issue that has always been complained about.
Absolutely.
How are you handling that?
You know, I like dealing with the youth. Yeah, sit them down, talk to them. What is good for them? Advise them, counsel them. Yeah, because I've been in this game for the past how many years? Over 15 years. Yeah, I've been in the basketball game. So when I say a player, a young guy misbehaving, I feel so bad. So counsel them, sit them down. You know, the future is bright for them. Try to talk to them as a parent. Yeah, and the coaches that the coach I recruited is trying to also change their mindset on how to see things differently for their, you know, success in future.
For that is very, very good, because discipline is one of the things that only not just in the lower division, but even in the NBL, that is disrupting sport.
But
not just basketball, but even other disciplines.
But I think the best challenge will be also finances. Players, the truth be told, there's no money in basketball. So you can't come to play basketball in a team in Uganda and you want it to be a source of income. And that's the mentality that we want to change from our players. Actually, I think next week I want to run a show about planning for players' retirement. To talk about that. So players' mindset should change. You cannot earn a living from the game. Yeah, put in little, play the game with passion. You know, so that probably if you play well, probably a team from Rwanda, APL can come and see you. And then take you out. So that's the opportunities that you get from basketball. The networking, the friends you create. Yeah, people will give you jobs. So that network thing is what makes me happy when I'm playing basketball. But when it comes to money, that's some teams players go because they've been paid. Someone get an allowance of 20,000 shillings and say a team to Sasura, which is very, very small. And they should learn how to look at the bigger picture. Yeah.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball. We return after this short break. We're discussing the league and the league resumption, plus the lower division and the dynamics that are happening.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
So maybe when I was working through with our Minister of Education and our State Minister for Sports, Mr. Honorable Hamson Oboa, and with Mama Niyitegeka, if they can have that, if they already just have a committee of all sportsmen they have in Uganda, the federations, as they work through the National Council of Sports, even the minister, calm down, because when we excel, the minister will get the credits. You understand?
Yeah, I get it.
Recently, 2019, the last time when we got a chance to be free, that's when the president hosted all the people come from Commonwealth Champion Games and all the medals. People have been awarded. So it shows you that the key area things right now is how can we get a capital base. That is through corporate companies in Uganda and the government. So my simple way is corporate companies. Come and own your team. Come and own these Ugandan clubs. Come and own national teams. I mean, 2017 Mandela Group of companies owned Zone 5. It has been talked about for up to now, forever. So we have a request for that. That's my thinking. Where can go better?
Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball. Felix Opal is my name, and in studio I'm with Pai Kamoga, the General Secretary of the Lower League Management Committee. Remember, the Lower League has kicked off and it is ongoing. And to the basketball fans out there, tomorrow it will be Emperors versus Livingstone, Kampala Rockets versus Gulu Hawks, and Night Riders versus Charging Rhino, and Entebbe Archers versus Raise Life. All those games will be happening at Nakasero Primary School, and you'll be able to catch them live on the FUBA Facebook page, because the fans are not allowed according to National Council of Sports and have to follow the SOPs. Livingstone having their game tomorrow. How prepared is the team?
That's the biggest rivalry in Division 2 basketball league in the history. Because I think they're the longest serving guys in the division.
Actually, I think we call it a derby.
I mean, the boys are prepared. The boys say training probably like 2 months back. So they're really psyched up. They're really ready for this game. And I told them, you guys lose against this game, you have no job. I even told my coach.
You gave them an ultimatum.
Yes, I told the coach.
But that is not how it's supposed to be.
I mean, that's how I want that game badly. That's how the team wants that game badly. It's a derby, as you know. But with respect to my former coach, Eric Malinga, is now handling the Emperors. Respect to their boss, Bavi. I really miss those moments.
So the ultimatum will put the players on more pressure. They have to be free. They have to express themselves. They also have to enjoy the game. However competitive, yes, it is competitive, but you also have to be there on the court and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watch all the games for Livingstone. I'm always there, but I mean, they know what's at stake, and our targets were already set for this season. So they need to put in the work. They need to understand that something big we are anticipating to get.
Is there any kind of motivation or what that you have given these players for them to know that, I have to actually put in 110%, not just 100%?
The players know, the coach knows what I promised them in case we hit our goals, our target, which I won't reveal here, but they know. They know what is at stake.
Yes. Okay.
I'm getting a trip to Dar es Salaam to hang out.
Hey, you might get them a trip.
Yes.
For them for winning that particular for the derby.
Yes.
A lot has been happening. Let's say in the NBL administratively, but what do you think should be changed?
You're putting me on the spot. First of all, I'm not in the executive.
Exactly. That is why you're in a perfect position to be able to give an insight on what should be changed.
I know what should be changed, what should be done, but what I think, what we should do is just involve the stakeholders. Yeah, tell them this is your plan. Let them actually tell them this is your plan. This is how we plan to execute it. Let them get to know, and then they're siding with you. Yeah, we shouldn't just be hearing directives or but involve the stakeholders, the managers and the executive. We shall move forward. But so far they've done a good job. I would appreciate them because it's not easy to be up there. There's so much pressure. But so far so good.
So far so good, but there's too much pressure. Now, going into the question of our silverbacks, we made history. We made it out of the group stages.
Yes.
We made it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then we fell short, but then it was our best performance at that level.
Yes.
And we improved. However, there is the discussion among fans, among various enthusiasts of the foreign best players. What is your take on that?
I mean, basketball is a team sport, and you cannot win it alone. You need people around you to win games. Yeah. First of all, those foreign best players actually they're Ugandans.
The argument, I think you've also been seeing them online, Facebook, Twitter. Then, can't we just have a local-based team? Can't we use our local-based players? We have quite so many players here. Can't we develop them? And instead of the team going into debt, there was talk of us being our silverbacks being stuck in a hotel, not being able to pay clearance fees, registration fees, just here in Kigali.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to appreciate what the committee that the national team is doing and what they've done, because we are nowhere in the world. No one knew about Uganda. But the things they've done to take us there are commendable.
Currently, we are 6th in Africa.
In Africa. I mean, it's a commendable job. I would wish the government to even give us more money so that we can yearn for top position. And it's possible. About the foreign players, worldwide, national teams, I mean, they bring in players probably who are born that side, but probably they've been living in Europe to play for them. And the rules also give us the mandate to nationalize one player. And we had to nationalize
Ishmael,
one of our best players. Yeah, respect to him. Then the rest of the guys actually they are Ugandans, though they're on that side. About the local players not playing in the national team, facilities, mindsets, resources. The resources that side, and the facilities and the mindset of a person who is in Europe, not the same as, and the discipline, not the same as a person who is locally here. So what I would add my local players is just to change the way they do things in terms of their discipline, respect, mindset. Yeah, probably they will get in the national team. But there are the small details that probably miss in our local players that probably those guys have. That's why they are on the national team. And that's a very, very big level.
In terms of views, comments, there's also the question and discussion, actually, which has been ongoing for quite some time. The national team, the Silverbacks, Tony Dweliba, Jimmy Enabu, Ben Komakech, James Okelo. Now the discussion is, all these players are from one team, City Oilers. Now, the discussion has always been, don't other teams have actually players that can actually meet the merit of making it there? What is your take on that?
I mean, that is no-brainer. City Oilers 6-time champions.
7-time champions.
7-time champions. So which means they have the best players in the league.
No,
and the mentality,
winning doesn't mean that you have the best players.
I mean, if that team has the best players, why are they winning? So the national team is cream de la cream. So they need to put a national team that has the best players in the country. With respect to other players, I mean, if you got Tony and Jimmy, they've been there and done that. So they deserve to be there.
So Livingston doesn't have a player that can even be part of the training camp.
Well, they have to groom players, you know, for that level. Yeah.
Because I believe you have young players.
Absolutely.
Yes, like you said. Yes, like you said, your pool is picking from Makere. Students, the people that come and practice from there, and I believe there's a very young crop of players.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who are at pool court, who are at main ground, every evening, working out or in the morning. Yeah. Yeah.
As the current ExCom, the President Nasser had a plan, strategy on how to, from bottom to top, not from top to from bottom to top. Yeah, where they need to, you know, re-energize or start up the school national league, primary level and the secondary level. By so doing, there will be so much competition for kids to be seen and participate on, probably go through the ranks of the league and probably national team. So which we did have chance to implement last season because of COVID, but I think in next year to happen. So that will help us to groom players, grow players. We had a schools championship, I think, in somewhere in Europe, where the kids won gold. Thanks to Coach Jonah. Then we had also the under 18 kids who performed well. So there's a crop that is coming up. Yeah, the national team guys are also aging. Yeah, but we are doing something to cover up that gap.
Interesting comments and views and remarks here, but I'm going to just select quite a few. Ignatius Lugatusiwe is asking, the lower league only focuses on the boys and not a lot of effort, let me read it correctly, not a lot of effort is put on the girls. Why is that?
First of all,
that's his comment.
Yeah. First of all, the girls have got an opportunity. Whoever has a girls team can join the league, but if a boys team, even it's harder to join. So the federation is putting emphasis on the girls. The lower league girls, I think they are 9 girls teams. I think there used to be 11, then jumped out. But the current league, yeah, we are giving them the limelight. Of course, they are ranks also, probably in terms of time playing the games. Of course, the girls play first, then the Division 2 girls play next, then the girls play third, then Division 1 plays.
First explain that well again.
We used to have 5 games before COVID, 5 games a day. Yeah, I used to have like 6 to 7 games a day, normal times.
Okay.
So the girls play first at 9 o'clock, then the Division 2 play second around 11. Then another girls team around 1. Then there's 2 fixtures. Of course, it should be the guys who deserve it, the Division 1 guys. So that's how it ranked. But I mean, as I've told you, we appreciate the girls and we need to go to the girls game, and the people there in the federation also want to go to the girls game. So we don't leave them out, really.
But don't you think like that particular breakdown, if you have put it, playing at 9 a.m., that would mean that you'd hardly have no one watching you actually. Even when we get to these times whereby I have to watch online, by 9 a.m. I would be doing some office work, or even if it's a weekend, perhaps I would be at home cleaning up, or but there would be something during that time. However, when it reaches 1 p.m., that will be like lunch period. There I'll have a lot of time. I can be on my phone, I can be on my laptop, and I can watch them. But at 9 a.m., it's a weekend, Saturday. You can be like, oh, Saturday is the day where I get to rest more. So that time, why don't you fix them in between what I would describe as prime time?
Yeah, people can come and watch them. Yeah,
exactly.
By the way, when the league goes into that later stage playoffs, yeah, they get the prime time. They'll play probably at lunchtime or even at 4 p.m. And that's when the league has gotten hot. So, but right now, since the games are very, very many, and we cannot satisfy everybody in the league. And the best pattern we would use was that girls play first, Division 2, Division 1. That is a simple pattern that can help us achieve what you want.
I'm loving the comments which are coming in, the questions coming in here in my inbox. Kayima Joseph is asking, Pi was part of Falcons. The team is now collapsing. Can he explain what is going on? This is from Kayima Joseph.
Yes, the team is not collapsing. In fact, the team is still in the National Basketball League. And the team still
interesting question, actually. I would also love to know, explain.
Because
I know you're part of the background of the team and you're part of the management.
Yeah.
Interesting views. Thank you so much for the viewers out there. Thank you for watching. Please keep the comments, the remarks, keep them coming on. I'm going to be reading them as the show goes on.
Yeah, Falcons, first of all, is not sinking. It's in the National Basketball League. Yeah, and league did happen. So we had good plans this season, and we are planning even to go to playoffs, and it's possible. We are of course doing a few things in the background with our president Douglas. Yeah, I mean the team is still there. We are still in National Basketball League.
But before the league was halted, cancelled. We're left with 2 games, and the team Falcons was about to be relegated.
No, actually,
unless it won those 2 games.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, we're going to beat JKL. We are sure we're going to beat JKL, and we'll stay up. Yeah.
Well, JKL patron Freedom Orange, I think we'll have different views to that comment of you being very sure of beating JKL.
Yeah.
You're sure they will stay up?
I mean, confidence. I mean, we had planned, we are sure the boys were set up, but like this is a game that takes us to the promised land. So we must win it. So there's no two about it. Yeah.
As we wind up, Mr. Pai Kamoga, thank you so much for gracing us with your time. To our viewers out there, tell them what they should expect further from the lower division, Division 1, Division 2, you as General Secretary of those particular divisions.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. And I want to tell our viewers out there, the players, the league is on. It's happening right now. Right now, the last game will be being played in Entebbe Archers and Gulu. They won't have fans at the venues, but the games will be live on our social media handles. Yeah, so just tune in there. You get everything that happening in the league. There's promotion, so there's something to fight for. So the vibe and the psyche is still there. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for our viewers out there. It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. Felix Seopal is my name. Catch you next time.
The whole world is undergoing a credit crunch.
Yeah.
The difference between Uganda and other countries is for us to talk about it, and the president doesn't talk about it. Other countries don't talk about it.
Yeah.
If you realize previously, we've been able to get through our manager because of his social capital.
Yeah.
Santul would get money, and teams to travel. Even when the government has given them money, the team has traveled. Then the government will pay slowly, and then clear that. But right now, this was facing everywhere, and this is the time where we also got Olympics coming through.
Yeah.
As football, we submitted our budgets for all our calendar submitted there. But you understand right now, financially, everything's been cut down for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
We had to struggle. And so remember, on a basketball, she has to travel. Everyone has to travel.
Yeah.
But the key thing is ownership of everybody. Like I can tell you, under 16, 4 days to the team traveling.
Yeah.
When you go to the boys can't travel because of social capital which we have. And I was able to reach one of the parents whose son was playing under 16, who's the captain under 16. And because of that, she said, no way, my boy can be in the camp for these few days, but also a few days. They're only there for, the boys actually did only 3 days camp. So because there was no money, I'm not sure if the government is going to give you or not, because of everything going on, preparation becomes very poor. And if you've seen, before the lockdown, which other things we had before, our teams have been preparing. And if you've seen, we're taking over the Kenyan national team, all those, in the region. Rwanda is in Afro, first of all, because they're hosting. You know, but Uganda, we have to go through the hard way to be there. That's something which is very key for us. So the key thing, what I'm talking about, what I'm requesting is all stakeholders in Uganda. Coca-Cola, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Hima Cement, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Total, Shell, all these corporate, all these banks, they make money in Uganda, a lot of money in Uganda. Their willingness to give back to community. I know we can, through the sports development, we can ask the government that whoever is giving support in the sports area, we give back. Maybe you can get a tax holiday. So there we'll have continuity.
Has a bit of complication, but it's intriguing. It's designed that way. It may be a maze, but there is order to what appears to be disorder.
So that is Pastor Semper.
That's Pastor Semper. And that's actually the work of God, a complex. When God does things, he does them fearfully and wonderfully. They're amazing when you look at them. So people like you said, they want to put a dot where there should be a comma. And they want to keep you only in one place. People like to say, Pastor, why are you now entering into politics? Why are you now commenting on it? Pastor, now for example, yesterday some fellow on Twitter was complaining, I forget his name. He complained about a woman who tweeted that she's got 6 dildos, electronic dildos, and she was saying, these are, can you imagine, I can have these and I have no threat of STDs. So now one of my followers complained and said, you know, man, how can we even compete with these things that never run out of energy? And now there was a growing falling out of people saying, man, we are really
taken down these things. But you're a human being, you're not electricity.
Exactly. But now,
and the system was never created for electricity. Anyway.
Now, normally I don't go very, very much into issues of sex and whatnot. But if I have to, I will. Because I represent a thinking of a biblical way, and people see me as a role model. So I remember that back in I think about maybe 2019, they released a report, and this is a scientific report, that showed that couples, that is man and woman who had sexual relations and exchanged fluids, were happier. Women who had sex and exchanged sexual fluids were happier, and they examined what is the sexual fluids from a man. What are the chemical components? They broke them down. One of them, they call it a happy hormone called oxytocin. Now oxytocin is a happy hormone. When a woman receives oxytocin, she gets happy. It's only released during sex with a man or when she's breastfeeding a baby. Those are 2 times. And it makes her happy. Why do women, why do they bond with their baby, love them so much? Because there's a chemical release that God has designed. So when I release this research to this guy, I say, guys, don't worry, you are not, there is not even a competition. Those women there, they may use those gadgets, but they are still miserable still. Long after they have run out of batteries, because they can never have what God put into you. And guys were happy. Because you see, when God gives you a mission to bring happiness to you, between you and your wife, He equips you with the capacity to make her happy, which cannot be found in a dildo or in a machine. And by the way, I sometimes like to point this out to those who are practicing same-sex relations. You can't have that. You can't have that.
No.
Lesbians, homosexuals, they do not have that. It never comes, that chemistry. Number two, even in those who are doing, these feminists who are doing masturbation, whatever, you can't get those hormones. So I sometimes say the reason why some feminists are continuously miserable, because they have never sampled the happy hormone.
No embarrass at all. And Pastor, I have a very interesting message here from Eduard Ochom. He has said, and I'm going to read some of your questions from out there. This is coming from Eduard Ochom. Is a serious lawyer in town, land rights lawyer, and with a fresh master degree from Swansea University, just returned. Swansea,
England.
Yes.
Well, hi, how you doing?
Hello, welcome to this edition of You and the Law. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. You and the Law is simply what it is, you and the law. In this show, we try to demystify the law for the ordinary person, make it simple for a teacher, for a lawyer, for a farmer, for a doctor, for a border rider, for a cleaner, everyone in our society. This program touches on every aspect of our lives that relate to the law. Is it marriage? Is it property? Is it land? Is it traffic? Anything that touches on the law will be discussed in this program. Today, we're going to have an interesting conversation that will focus on the institution of marriage. I know most of us have attended marriage functions. Some of us are married. Most of us viewers are married. But what does it mean to be married? How does the law look at marriage? So this conversation today will focus on demystifying the whole topic around marriage and how it is viewed from the eyes of the law. And to help us do this, I have a learned mind with me, and it's none other than my friend, my colleague, Emmanuel Elau. Emma, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Hello, viewers. Thank you for having me on the show.
In House of Talent, when you fist bump, you spread the love. So you do this, then you spread the love. Yeah, so Emma, how have you been?
Well, I've been great.
Yeah, we're coming in from 42 days of a lockdown. How has it been on your end?
It's been quite difficult. You know, you wake up in the morning, you sit around the compound, you look at the time. You know, you lose sense of the calendar because you fail to understand which is a Monday and which is a Sunday.
You're even lucky that you have a compound. Some people live in one-bedroom houses and have nothing to look except their, iron sheets.
Yeah, sure.
And really, you're, our first guest really on this program. And why do you think it's, sort of important for people to just know about the law? Because I know you've been teaching law and practicing law for all these years.
Yes. Well, thank you. You know, when it comes to the law, we basically live the law, on a day-to-day basis, Whether it is in your bedroom, there is a law that governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl or you might be with another person's wife. All the things are the law, When you jump on a border, there is law. When you're driving, we're talking about traffic, If you go to a restaurant, you must ensure that you have the money because you're consuming someone's energy and investment. So you must be able to pay for that. So we interact with the law at all times.
It's part of our everyday life.
Yes.
Man, you don't want to be in trouble after many years of working hard only to realize that you have no rights at all simply because you didn't celebrate any of the marriages that are recognized within the laws of Uganda. With that, we come to the end of this edition of You and the Law. It's a bye from us. See you next time.
Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela and this is House of Talent Television. Welcome to the program. This week on the program, we bring you the story of those who are doing it in Uganda. And of course, we are always talking about local content development by Uganda, build Uganda. Do we really understand what this means? Do we know what local content development means? Everyone is talking about it. And today on the program, we decided to focus mainly on the woodwork in Uganda. You know, the Creative Industry Talk is talking about, you know, furniture building in Uganda. Do you buy Ugandan furniture? Do you have a Ugandan furniture in your building? Or are you all the way flying to China and to all these other places to have furniture from there? Yet you have people who are doing this woodwork in Uganda. On the program today, we focused their story and of course the interview to the young men who I found around the streets of Kampala. One day I was driving and I was looking for Ugandan furniture, and so I used to drive on the same road over and over, and I see this place and there's just a couple of young people just doing their stuff, you know, crazy ideas and, you know, things put around the place, and I decided to give them a visit. It started raining, so I stood there for a couple of hours watching and seeing what was going on while I wait for a table to come to my office. And indeed, they made a table. So what I was looking for was, do they really understand what they're doing? Do they understand the art, you know, behind the creativity that they're actually, you know, involved in? And along the way, I realized that they just simply need, you know, somebody to believe in them. So we decided to bring them onto the program today so that we can enjoy the creative minds and the creative people of Uganda in the woodwork in Uganda, in the furniture business in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, all across the world, welcome you all to the Creative Industry Talk. And of course, my guest today is a man from the eastern part of Uganda. David Anderson Onyango was one of the people leading that particular business, you know, on that particular street in Kampala, Uganda, to the furniture business and supply in Kampala. David, welcome to the program. How are you doing? Here we spread the love. When you do this, you must spread the love. So you have to spread the love, yes. Welcome to the program, and I'm going to take off my glasses so that the creativity can start. First of all, we want to start from a very lighter note. Who is David Onyango?
Well, I am David Onyango Anderson. As you said, from the east, but born and raised of Kampala.
Okay.
I've roamed the streets of Kampala. I've seen my childhood through Kampala, my best and worst. And I am now a woodworker, a law student, and a mental health worker, all in one person.
Yes. So when you say you're not a woodworker and a mental health worker, but first we want to take you growing up. Who was David growing up? What did you want to be in life? What were you looking for in life growing up?
Well, growing up, I went to school in Chitante, right here. I was a very argumentative person. So I think law was always the option for me. But I was interested in art as an option, as a main part of my life. I was interested in creating beautiful things because I saw beauty in the things I saw most of the times. So I think that explains my choices in both law, which is something I'm passionate about, and woodworking, which gives me the chance to create art physically and see it.
Okay. So we want to just, you know, get straight to this interview and just try to sort of like know you from a certain, you know, angle and with a certain lens. When you were growing up, did you ever make those wired cars, things we used to use when we were learning how to drive, making those things, you know, were you that creative when you were growing up?
I was, actually.
What is the memorable thing that you think you created when you're growing up that when you look back today, you can say it all started from here?
I think it was around 2002. I created my first tipper with actually the ability to tip its content. All in the streets of Mulago, and it had lights, it had the tipping part.
Yes.
I refused to sell it off. I would sell a lot of items, but I kept that one for myself because
wow.
I think it was the beginning of it.
Yes. Now, talking of that, did your father or your mother ever see you as a creative person?
Well, I grew up with my mother for most of the time, and as you know, life in Kampala, you don't really get time to be with your parents.
Yeah.
A lot of the times because they're always pulling ends together. But I think, I don't know if she saw it, but she gave us the freedom to explore.
Yeah.
She did not control us a lot.
Okay.
She controlled our behaviors, but she gave us the freedom to do our own things that were within her rating of moral and fine. So we had that chance. We could do this, as you said, small wire cars and sell them off, and she would let us use our money for our things. And I think that pushed us forward to know that, well, if you create something good, then you can get money from it. And I think the greatest motivation is always money at the end of the day.
You speak with the word plural, which means us. Who are we? Us referring to who? How many are you in the family, and are you the firstborn or the lastborn?
I am the second lastborn. Yeah. We are in a family of 4 children. Yeah, I have a bigger brother, I think, who comes up more in the plural form. I have a sister who is a graphic designer. Still, I think art is in the family in a way.
Yes.
And my big brother was the inspiration into woodwork at the main part, because there's a bigger age gap, so he went into the business before me, and he pulled me into it. But even in the start, I mean, he inspired me a lot.
Okay. I'm talking of that, we are talking to David Onyango here. We're talking about woodwork. This entire interview today on the Creative Industry Talk, we're talking about furniture in Kampala, furniture in Uganda, furniture in Africa. Do Africans buy their own furniture? Do we buy things made from our own people? Do we sit in things made by our own people? Today's topic is looking at the local content development, focusing on Ugandan-made furniture. And of course, we have David Anderson Onyango from he's the business development director at, formerly it's called Arc Furniture, but now it's called Chronicle Furniture. I learned this morning. Oracle Furniture, I learned this morning. And it's a new business. They are situated on Bukoto Kisasi Road. And these guys do amazing stuff. So we brought them on the show today so that you can actually understand that there are some simple Ugandans creating local content that are good for our businesses. David, we want to go back to this interview and start this interview from a very interesting point. So let's talk about woodwork. Furniture, Ugandan-made furniture. What is your definition of a Ugandan-made furniture?
Well, my definition of Ugandan-made furniture has expanded a bit the deeper I went into the industry. Initially, Ugandan-made furniture was woodwork. It had to be woodwork. But the creative minds that we are, Ugandans, we've expanded. We've expanded into the medium density fiber boards, that is MDF ordinarily. We've expanded into reclaimed wood furniture, where we have the pallet furniture. So it has really grown, but to me, the definition would be that it's a piece made by a Ugandan in Uganda, and with our own creativity here, because we have a different scope of creativity from everyone else.
All right, very good. And what is your understanding of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda? We are always talking about Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. What is your understanding of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, Bobo?
Well, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, I think this is what employs us as Ugandans to come back to develop and support our own pieces of furniture here, our own items here, made by our creativity and our materials. And it pulls us back to understand that we are going to receive furniture that has been made based on our ability as Ugandans, but feel proud of it because it is made here by our own and from our own materials.
Talking of that, David, most times we think that, when we're looking to buy a bed, I go to Nina Interiors of this world, I go to big time furniture shops to get a bed. But also there are these guys on the roadside for low cost housing conditions, furniture where people usually just go to, you know, buy their bed for at that area. But we tend to think about validation and the point of buying furniture from the sense that I want imported furniture. That is when I feel that I have spent my money right. Having started this business, what motivated you to move towards it, and why? Why yet the odds against you are quite too, you know, straight that I will go to Mina Interior to buy furniture from, or I will go to a slightly, you know, moderate, you know, place to buy furniture from there because I want to, you know, there's this notion that a Ugandan made furniture is not good.
Well, my main motivation was and still is the fact that when I look at the furniture from the what you call the high class sell places, I don't see any difference. They actually work a lot on budget. So our local furniture, our local carpenters here do produce items, let's say a bed, using the same materials, the same quantity of wood and even more, and waste it. But because they demand so less from themselves, they keep it at a given rate of quality. They didn't seek to compete with they had actually quoted themselves as the lower end and gotten satisfied with that.
All right, you guys are coming in to sort of like redefine the thinking that has always been there of we can make the Ugandan wood look good, and you know, a person can be more prouder to, you know, buy from Uganda and even custom make something to their taste. How has that journey been like, and how are Ugandans responding to that creativity?
Initially, it was hard, really hard, because most of these people, when they get their money, they want to go and buy this piece. I mean, buy it, take it home, and then they're done with that purchase. And sometimes, due to less capital, the manpower, you need the time to actually create this. So first of all, you demand something which is very rare from someone, and that is, first of all, trust and time. And these are very valuable at the same time. So it's really been a challenging journey, trying to get people to trust you and then give you the time.
Okay, so having gotten people to trust you and get to this level, let's talk about your first customer when you started. The very first day you guys walked out to start something. What did you create for a customer? Did you create for yourself? How did you start?
Initially, we actually worked from our own home. So we depended on our own contacts. We began with friends. First with family, then friends. Then my own realization was that the recommendations are better at the end of the day. So we began getting the recommendations. Until, well, it became a bit hard to invite someone to your home to show them furniture. So you had to now think of a location. And that is how the journey started. And the trust came from people who knew us, because they knew we had something to lose more than money itself. And then the other strangers that trusted us because they trusted someone else. Until we've reached at an extent where we are able to at least now attract trust without a middle person and without prior knowledge of the person. Okay.
David, just before we go for a break, would you quantify and qualify that as being, that very last part of it says, as being, you know, attributed to the fact that when you did something, the person you made for felt happy and felt like, I can recommend these people? Or how did you get to that point of building trust? Because trust is the foundation of business, you know. Globally, economy is built on trust. I trust you, I give you business, I trust that you take my creative thinking and turn it into a reality, and you give me this furniture that when I sit in, if it's a chair, I feel good. If it's a table, I feel nice to sit and take my cup of coffee or eat food. If it is bed, when I go to sleep, I feel comfortable that this is something I thought about how I wanted the bed to be like, and I went to David with my creativity, and he turned around my creativity into a reality.
Well, definitely, it is because we've been able to pay back these people's consideration, the customers' consideration, exactly the way they give it back. Take for example, when you, most of the times, first of all, when someone trusts you, and then they give you the time. So one thing they don't want is an excuse. So you keep it out of the equation. And then there's also the ability to own up to a mistake, because you can't eradicate them. But every time you own up to a mistake, it gives you the relationship between the customer and the maker and the seller a sort of a new fresh page to begin from, because it is not something everyone does.
Okay. We're talking to David Anderson Onyango from the Oracle Furniture, Limited, straight out of Kampala from the Bukoto, Kisasi Road, and these guys do amazing stuff. You need to check them out. They're on the Creative Industry Talk. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, the interview with David will continue while we dive into the whole point of creativity. What is creativity by his understanding, and does what he does every single day represent the whole heart of creativity? Furniture, Ugandan-made furniture. Do you have a furniture in your house, by the way? If you don't have one, perhaps you need to consider these guys. All of us dream big, but you must have somebody who can bring your dream into a reality. Stay right there. I'll be right back after the break. This is the Creative Industry Talk.
If you create a space which enables people to think and thrive, that's a bonus. Before I started working officially, I used to do a lot of freelance work. And as a young freelancer, my laptop was on my back. And I didn't have an internet connection. I didn't have an office desk. It was difficult for me to work at home. So what I did is I would go and sit in a restaurant, buy some tea or breakfast, and ask for a Wi-Fi password. And then I would sit there and have my breakfast slowly, as I did my work, and I sent work to clients and everything, But before long, lunchtime, it would be lunchtime, and they would
be forced to eat also.
They would bring you a lunch menu. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So when you find a space where people can come and sit and pay for a full day.
10,000, I'm told.
Yes, you see, that is creativity.
Yeah.
Because the owner of this building or the owner of this space knows that people, there's a certain segment of the market that can't afford to rent a premises per square meter or 10 square meters or 100 square meters and pay monthly and bring their own furniture, their own internet connection, carpeting, light and everything, a working bathroom, and then lunch for staff members. So they think about it creatively and they say, how many people can this space take? 100 people per day. Okay, good. If each of those people pays 10,000 per day, and they come and have access to the internet and a nice chair and a desk and a good environment where they can concentrate and deliver. That is brilliant. That is creativity in the workplace.
It is a Creative Industry Talk, and welcome back to the program. In the studio, we are talking to David Anderson Onyango from Oracle Furniture Limited. David, welcome back to the program. David, a lot of time when I am dreaming, everyone in life dreams of something good, something, fantastic, something, nobody wants to live a poor life, and we believe that everybody is born creative. We all aspire to have something good in life. Furniture is one of those things that we want to have at home. Nobody wants to be in a house that doesn't have good chairs or good beds or or a TV stand and stuff like that. We want to talk to you about creativity from the point of how you take my creative thinking and turn it to a reality that becomes the table or becomes the TV stand that I use at home. And most times you know, carpenters in Uganda, all world over, they always say that if a carpenter is too good to produce something for you, then they are too difficult to deal with. They take too long to produce the stuff. Typically, take us through the process of you taking my thinking and turning it into a reality dream of a furniture, of a table that I need to have home. And how long does it typically take? Because sometimes you take way too long that people get frustrated. That's why we go for imported wood.
Well, it is very true, and it is a great challenge to, I think, the furniture industry generally. And I think that is what gives a lot of platform to those people that sell finished products.
Yes.
But for custom woodworkers, first of all, you have to understand that the time is not negotiable. The time of production, actually, the process through which this item is supposed to be produced cannot be altered. Usually the altering comes with its own effects. So first of all, it takes honesty to please tell the customer or the person ordering that after this description, it will take this time. And I think while you give the time, you need to put an allowance for yourself based on how busy you are. So the biggest challenge with oftentimes in the furniture industry, they call it the technical curse.
Yes. Because
the more skilled someone is, then they develop the pride first of all. Then they develop the fact that they are irreplaceable. They're like, you will go and then you will come back. So that is not a business mind.
Yes,
but for a person that wants to do both woodwork as a passion and as a business, you have to balance through these things. You have to balance through these things. You have to keep enough pride so that you don't let a customer push you into a shorter time when you know it is impossible to fulfill. And then you have to lower the pride a bit to be able to alter and know that the customer is key. And you are going to need them either through a recommendation or a second job. So when you balance the two, you treat the customer right, you treat the furniture right, and then you receive their ideas, but still you don't alter the carpentry principles, the woodworking principles, because the customer is ordering. You have to maintain the principles, and that way you produce the exact same thing and the perfection that they seek, which pushes them to come back.
Okay. David, do you think that is the same process that everyone out there goes through? Because, well, you have an education clearly to yourself, and there are these people who just learned the skill from the street. They are creative people. They start it from there. They are able to do something great for themselves, but they don't have a business mind. How would you help such a person have a business mind and turn around? You know, when we're talking about the local content creation for, you know, buy Uganda, build Uganda.
Exactly. I think historically, woodworking has been passed on, carpentry has been passed on through apprenticeship. So that is the biggest challenge. You learn the skill, you don't get the business skill because the teacher wants to keep their customers.
Yes.
But then, due to the current development, we have the technical schools teaching carpentry. They're teaching the theoretical part, but they are indulging less business. And then the business methods they indulge in are also less practical. They have been written in books. They have not been actually applied sometimes. So I think one needs to first of all learn the dynamics. Consider carpentry as a business, as a trade. And the rules of trade are the same regardless of which trade you're going in. We have standard rules that don't change. So currently, I think it is something I personally took upon myself, and in our kind of business, we do have apprentices, by the way. We do take in students. They learn, especially through the lockdown. We've had a lot of them coming in and to take on the skill. But we always give them 1 or 2 days in a month where they come into the selling desk and they get to see what it means to actually do the sale. You don't have to be on the planer all the time, on the circular saw. You need to know that after the circular saw, this customer doesn't know it exists. How do you inform them that it is the step that is going forward on their object? And then we've opened up the industrial part of pack carpentry to the customers. They're actually very thrilled when they see how these things are done.
Yeah, so you actually take them in and show them the process, like they say, process by process, process by process, how these things are going. Yes,
exactly.
So you take them through. So when a customer goes behind and sees this process by process of the woodwork going, when you look at them, what are they seeing at that point, and what is their response when you finally deliver this final piece to their home or to their sitting room or to their offices? Yeah.
Well, they're always very thrilled. It is surprising, even to some of us sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes someone will order something custom, and then you make a work plan, and then you sit and you're like, is this achievable?
But it's a creativity from you.
Exactly. And then as the process goes on, there are customers who have, before the process, who ask for pictures of the process. Yeah. And then even ourselves take pictures of the process sometimes. And then sometimes you move to a certain level and you call your fellows, and then this is how it's turning out. Okay. And then there's advice. And then when the customers also come in and they look at it, they're like, is that really going to come out? And you're like, wait. And the thrill after they see it coming out, it creates a different set of attachment to this. Some customers have asked for please, can you bring it and I assemble it myself? They want to feel like they're now part of this production team, the production of this item, and they talk about it a lot of times, and it keeps them coming back to the workshop. Some of them have indulged their children into this woodworking just because of how they saw it move, and now the availability of power tools has improved a lot. Yeah. It has improved the whole process. It has made it more conducive for the customers to see and for us to work. The environments we work in are less cluttered, and that is.
So it's not woodwork as we used to know back in the days, where the guy would be, with a nail banging things and trying to turn around things, and it's more professional now. It's more like you're saying that we're learning from you. There's more, electronic tools that have come in that has made this kind of creativity quite very easy. David, that's really fascinating to hear that the customer is involved in the process. So do you think having the customers involved in this process is beginning to change the mindsets of Ugandans, of Africans, that yes, we can make this ourselves, yes, we can make our own furniture, yes, we can make beautiful things, yes, we can turn around our living spaces, and to something that we enjoy to be in, that I can actually be creative and see my room, my little room like this, and think about how this is going to be here, that's going to be there, and I walk to a carpenter and make this, become a reality. Do you think that is improving as the time goes? And where do you see us in the next, couple of years from now?
Well, it's really improving a lot. It has helped a lot. First of all, for the customers to set realistic goals, because as they discuss with the woodworkers, you get to exchange the impossibilities and the possibilities. See, I want this, but well, that kind of wood you want cannot achieve this particular goal. Yeah. So if you want that as an end result, you have to come into this type of wood. And then the advantages and differences and disadvantages of each type of wood. I'll give a live example. If you want a white item to be in color white, a piece of furniture to be in color white, it is more difficult to use a muvule piece of wood, because muvule is naturally yellow. So if you paint white on it, the yellow will always come out.
Yes,
so
yes.
These kind of lessons to customers has made it more easy, and it has also helped the industry grow a lot. Yeah. It is now more interactive, and interaction has always yielded good fruits, because in that way you get to know each other's challenges and work ways around them every time you're doing transactions with those people.
Okay, so I've seen there are people who come up with good ideas. They have an understanding of what they're looking for as a place, or as a wood, or as a furniture to have at home. And in most cases, they say, I want a black and green and yellow furniture at the same time. do you always advise them, you know, like, do you go to somebody's house and say, look, the kind of furniture you want, looking at the space you have and looking at the colors that you have in the house will clash, and maybe you'll have to have this, and do customers usually respond to it? Because I see also another side where people are so obsessed with the, you know, spraying things and putting different colors. Natural things like the ones we have in the studio here is not very much, you know, looked at as beauty, you know. How do you deal with that? Do you advise them, or do they just come and say, I want the green table, give me a green table, and you give them? Like you said, Muvule is yellow. If you paint white, it's not going to come out very well. How do you go through that process of turning around the customers', you know, crazy creative ideas into a beautiful idea?
Well, it depends on how much the customer invites you in.
Yes.
We have customers that will pack up and then say, please, can I steal you away for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I want to show you something, and then you can advise me.
Okay.
Now, when you give me that kind of platform, I'm going to advise you without even considering how much money I make. Well, sometimes someone will come to you and then they're like, I want a Mugavu TV stand, but I want it wall mounted. But you see, a Mugavu TV stand is going to be extra kilograms.
Yes.
So
if you mount it on the wall and your wall is not strong, basically you're saying it will come down.
It is going to come down.
Yeah. So how do you help them achieve such,
sometimes,
unrealistic goals?
Yeah, most of the time, you do advise them. Yeah. If you want to wall mount, you're going into, you can go into something lighter. We have other lighter pieces of wood, and they look beautiful too. And we can tone them in different ways. Usually wood has a lot of its own tonation, but then when we are going to tone it artificially, we prefer the lighter varieties, the Musambias, the pine. Well, pine has been embraced very much because of the environmental impact of the other hardwoods. We have pine, we're reclaiming with cypress. But you do advise the customer very much, and if they really came into a custom shop and they knew where they were coming, they'll just try to modify their ideas based on your advice, and then you can come up with a consensus on what exactly is going to work for them. And then the other idea is the idea of people taking custom measurements. This is your house, so if you want a TV stand, from where to where do you want it to run? So I'll advise you.
Wow. Well, we're talking to David Onyango, who is the business development director of Oracle Furniture Limited, a company based in Uganda. Started by local Ugandans, very young people. As you can see David here, the people he leads are very young. Fascinating to see that, David, you are actually a law student into furniture. I mean, usually putting on a very good necktie and being, called land friend is more respectable to some people out there than being called a carpenter law student. I mean, how do you balance the two? Why the woodwork and the law,
Well, for me, I think I loved being able to create things every time. And when I went into law, I knew I had the power to create words, to change them and alter them, to determine new things, and do different things with my mouth, with how I speak and how I write. Yeah. So I had one part of my creativity that I had not tampered with, and that is the physical, creating something that I can actually see. That is why I decided to have the same combination. Funny story, when I finished with my A-level and I had a sponsor actually, and he engaged me on what the way forward was. I told him I have two options. See, I'm going into law school or I'm going into carpentry school. Say, but well, those are not two options. That is one. You're going into law school.
Yes.
I said, okay, then this is law school. So I went into law school, but the passion did not go away. So I brought myself back into carpentry personally after chasing after law, and I'm still chasing after it. And the carpentry has been able to pay for the expenses of law school in excesses. It pays, it maintains me, and it has given me a chance to show a lot of other young people like me that we can do this. Well, you may not have two options like me. You may have one, which is law. You may have one, which is woodwork. You don't have to stay into one. You don't fix into one. You can go into each of your options, or you can take them on as a bunch. The human brain has the ability to do both.
Wow. Well, we are talking to David Anderson Onyango, and this is a Creative Industry Talk where we discuss Ugandan local content specifically and directly, focused on, local content development on woodwork and specifically on Ugandan-made furniture. How do you find Ugandan-made furniture? We're going to be showing you some really good furnitures out there made by these guys in people's homes from their workshop. We want to make sure that everybody who is out there and is a creative mind find this platform quite a very interesting platform for them to be part of. And of course, creativity and coffee goes all together, David. So I'm gonna just, make for you a French press as we take a break. You also take a moment to just make a French press for yourself. And we're gonna take a coffee break. And the Creative Industry Talk will be right back after this break.
Actually, my editor told me, Jeremy, there is no way you can call your book Man on Top.
Yes.
And I said, no. I'm actually going to call it Man on Top because I think I can sell it.
Yes.
Okay, I think I can sell it. And so the first task for me was to define Man on Top away from the definition it already has.
That we already know.
Yes. So for me, a man on top is a man that is faithful, dependable, and responsible.
Yeah.
So I began a campaign about saying you're a man on top, you're faithful, you're responsible, you're productive. Yeah. So every man has within them a desire to be those three things. To be faithful, to be productive, and to be responsible. So every person who thought they were faithful, responsible, and productive said to call themselves a man on top. You see, that was the idea in terms of the title. The cover really was purely about getting people to pick up the book, especially the ladies. I think it worked.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials. And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Remember Prince? Yes. Prince.
Welcome back to the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela and this is House of Talent Television. Of course, we're talking to David Anderson Onyango from Oracle Furniture Limited. A Ugandan, authentic Ugandan outfit making furniture for people's beautiful homes, beautiful furniture, beautiful people. And you can go there and create your own. And he's earned himself the right to be on the Creative Industry Talk because some of the things in the studio where we're seated today is actually done by David and his people. The first time I met these guys, I went into their workshop, sat there and decided I have something I need them to do for us. And so I like to, work with creative people, creative Ugandans, young people, whether young or old. I want to bring them together. I love to bring the best out of people. So I decided to give them an opportunity to be able to build a woodwork and to build a studio with me, and we did this together. David, welcome back to the program. And we want to talk about it. So this studio here is built by you guys. The woodwork in this studio built by you guys. We gave you guys a recommendation and we've got a fantastic review coming back from Legal Hub that they're very happy with their studio. You were never traditionally doing studios. You didn't even do them. we open up the door for you. How does that make you feel like when somebody takes you away completely from making chairs and beds and, you know, the living, you know, room, you know, furniture, to now building, you know, TV studios, radio studios and audio studios? How does that make you feel like?
Seriously, it is a very good experience. When I'll begin from your items here, the studio work. When we first produced them, everyone was stopping at the workshop. So what is this? Is this for decoration? So it was a totally new thing to us, to the viewers, to the people that pass by, other customers. We actually, before we got, after doing your studio work, before we got a second recommendation from you people, we did these items for a few other people. Others wanted them for decoration. Pastors wanted them in churches. I want it at the pulpit. I want this. And they didn't know why we were doing them, but they looked beautiful. It was even more fascinating for us who knew why we had done them in the first place. And their years. So it is really, really great. And since we did decide to embrace custom woodworking as a trade, we are always comfortable with this. Someone can come in. We have a rule at my workplace with and me and my guys that even if you came in and told us you want a wooden Range Rover, we would ask for a year, but we would make it.
All right, and then of course, so you see the beautiful work here at House of Talent made by these guys. David, we want to dive into the last part of the show, which is about, you know, understanding the local content. We're talking about, you know, local content development in Uganda. Everybody's talking about it. The politicians are talking about it, but nobody actually really goes down to, you know, the deep end dive into the local content. Nobody puts their mind to know how does it work. Nobody wants to talk to a carpenter to see how a carpenter is doing it. Do carpentry people make sense? We have many carpentry shops around, or, you know, workshops around, but we don't give them opportunity to produce something beautiful. We want to be able to live by example, to say this is built by Ugandans, this is built by the local people. When I go to the US or to Europe or to America or to the UK or to Asia, you know, do it your way is the main thing. The skilling of people is done from that point, that I am able to build my furniture from home. I was talking to a friend of mine in Germany and he said, man, I built every furniture in my house myself. He left Uganda, he had no skill at all. Our education didn't teach him that. And when he got there, he said it's more expensive to bring a carpenter to build something for you than when you build it for yourself. But they're willing to come and teach you how to do it, and then you can do it by yourself. That I found that very fascinating. So a lot of us are talking about local content development, but we don't know. We're talking about build Uganda, buy Uganda, build Uganda. But the quality of what we're talking about, the quality of the production we're producing, the products we're producing to give, you know, to people is not worth, it cannot compete with the international, you know, or imported products coming into Uganda. What is your say in that regard, now that you have carved a niche in the market for you and your people, that we want to be people who bring out custom made? You have a crazy idea, bring the crazy idea to us, we will bring it to a reality.
Well, in my own point of view, and based on my experiences so far, in my time in woodwork, I think as Ugandans, we would be more, even right now, our pieces, the items, our ability to produce things, if we concentrate, is fascinating. It is something so great to see someone get out a stump of wood and then produce something extraordinary for you. You can do it while the person is sitting there. And that is very fascinating. So if we can produce this good with these little resources, then I think what we need is the push of resources. I'll take you to a part that is absurd, basically, about in woodwork. The prices of power tools for us, the tools we actually need to produce these high quality pieces of wood, of furniture is immense here. And when I have platforms where I engage with carpenters from different parts. I have a subscription from a woodworking site called America's Guild, Woodworkers, of America's Guild. And when you look at these people talking about their drill press, their circular saws, table saws, routers, they talk about very little prices, even when converted into our own prices here. Someone buys a router saw at, let's say, 300,000. That is their price, converted to ours. And here, a quality router so that is durable is supposed to be at least 1.5.
Yeah.
So that is really the greatest setback. Remember, carpentry is a very hard business to pitch, because it's always dependent on other people.
Yeah.
It is easy for you to pitch a business if someone can easily understand it. Yeah. But people don't understand the transition from wood to furniture. So it is hard to pitch, so you don't get people investing. And if you're willing to invest, then you may find yourself having capital to only buy 3 power tools, and they can't produce a piece of furniture. So I think that is our biggest challenge here. Otherwise, I've had a lot of foreigners coming in, even personally at my workshop, and then someone says, well, I didn't know we can have this kind of furniture here.
Yeah.
This is so good. I've seen young men that have gone as far as following up on the background of the trees they are going to use for furniture. So someone will give you a furniture piece and tell you that one was made from a tree that was 50 years old. And you know, these people have methods of measuring these things, the whites, and then they're going to prove it. It's 50 years old. And this is fascinating, how someone is able to explain a piece of furniture in their house back to the tree and how old it was. So this shows how our capability as Ugandan furniture creators, as young people. Actually, woodwork has been stormed by young people, and this is somehow a good thing, because you know how our brains work is. I would say personally, at my workshop, at our workshop, at Oracle Furniture, our oldest, our age gap is between 38 and 14. So we have people as young as 14 years, and our oldest person is 38. Okay. So you can see that we are between the range that is ready to risk, that is ready to experiment with new ideas, and to think outside the box. And that gives us an edge. And this is what, as Ugandans, not only in carpentry, but in any other trade, we are supposed to embrace. If someone is willing to risk, and they are positively sure that their risk is going to produce something great, you need to trust them a bit. You need to give them a bit of a gap to experiment.
So in other words, you're saying that we must be able to allow people room to express themselves.
Exactly.
And when they have something new, we should be able to give them opportunity and a platform for them to, you know, express themselves and to do it. David, let's go straight to your workplace. Earlier on when we started the show, you were talking about how you guys started and the motivations, you know, and how you walked through in the first place. I want to just put a few pictures up to actually show you that these guys, you know, talk about things that they are doing. That's right there. Is that you and David? And that's the workshop, and how it all started?
Yeah, this is how we started.
Yes.
And actually this was our first big addition, the metal structure.
Yes.
We hit, after we started, we were in a tarpaulin, in a small tent, where when it rains we would cover ourselves with our working tools.
Yes.
Under the tarpaulin.
Okay, and yes, so is that the whole business creative idea starting there of the workshop itself?
Yes, now that is, we are creating our first structure of a house. After hitting one big job, I think, and we are sitting down now. We have to begin looking at protecting our materials, but also creating something someone can look at.
Yeah. Okay. And so when you are sitting with your young people and you're all coming with ideas, were your business ideas written down, or was it just there in people's heads that you sit down there and, you know, jazz about these things and make it a reality, or you actually wrote a proper business plan and said, this is how we're going to do it? Again, there you are.
Well, I think the business plan is something we've written way deep into the business.
Yes.
That's when we decided, oh, this could become something greater. At first, we got into this whole idea as people seeking to earn a living. Young people who cannot steal, we cannot do any of these immoral things. We've been brought up in a way that it's not a choice for us. So we have one choice, is to sweat. And we had one person who had the audacity to know, who had gotten time to learn this. So he was like, yeah, we can. He knew how to make these things. He didn't know any other thing.
That's all he knows.
He knew how to make these things.
So did he grow up in the Jesus' time because Jesus was born a carpenter, or what happened?
Actually, he ran into he took on apprenticeship.
Yeah.
We were younger. That is our elder brother.
Yeah.
Actually, we are a partnership of 3 brothers in the workshop, and each has a specific skill.
Okay.
But the biggest was the skilled man. So first of all, he comes in, we respect him, and we've seen some of his works. After learning, he did a few things for family members. The feedback was good.
Okay.
But now, it was now a new era coming in, online marketing, social media. So, but I told him, but we can get some few customers from online, I think. He said, well, if you can, I am here to work.
Yes.
I got him one. I remember my first online customer was a doctor from Novik. I posted a small. It was was it a wardrobe?
Yeah.
On Facebook, and he liked it. He said, "Can I order?" I said, "You can definitely order." And I really welcomed him. I loved it.
Yes.
I remember myself pacing to Novik and back to Novik and back, showing him the processes. And then I told Ronnie, "This is our first deal." And
Go on.
And when we produced his wardrobe,
he
was very happy. He was very happy. We never got any other customer from him, not a recommendation, but it was enough push for us to know that now the market is not from someone who can see you, especially since we were working from home. So we went online, and that's where we started.
Okay.
Yeah, we started from there.
Well, David, I want to read a couple of comments from here. Somebody saying, Eddie Okila, thank you very much for bringing that gentleman on the show. I'm very interesting, and this is fascinating to see young people actually involve themselves in making, furnitures that are very, that can compete with some international product. I have a problem of quality. Most Ugandan carpentry people or people in carpentry business usually don't pay attention to details, and the quality is always wanting. Can you ask David, how are they doing it? Have they improved? Well, I think that we can ask David by putting some of the pictures up. We can see, let's put up some of the pictures from Arc Furniture up there so that people can see. So right there, let's talk to this. David, the process of making this chair, somebody's asking if you now improve attention to details. Yes. I guess it's talking about the cushions and the stuff like that, the fitting and stuff like that. Do you have other people who do this work?
Exactly. One thing that is tying the furniture industry back is the fact that you find one person wanting to do everything. So you always need that person that can cite who can do what best and let everyone specialize. Furniture is a very, very broad. It's a broad spectrum of work. So you cannot do it all well.
Actually, hold it there. So that right there, that was my table. So I walked to these guys and I gave them a huge challenge, and I said, I want you guys to make a 6-seater dining table for my house. And they made that table. I remember that table was rejected and it caused some serious problems. David, so how did you ever improve this table? Because the chairs are there, but the table, we didn't like them. Because of you guys became too creative in putting the lines which I didn't want and stuff like that. That's another problem. Perhaps the other gentleman is talking about how do you, make sure you understand the client beyond just what they have told you and your creativity.
Well, I think particularly from that particular job, we were now trying to experiment with people who are more attentive to detail. People who actually know their furniture.
So was I a difficult client?
You were difficult at that time, but but I think you were difficult. But then every challenge comes with it a step for you to step higher. So from there on, I knew if you're ordering a table and I think I did it on the second one, what do you want? What don't you want?
Okay.
Can I add this? Can I add this? Can I add this? So
there you have it. The table was changed. Is now right there. Isn't that beautiful, people? Do you have a furniture? So that's a table in my house done by these guys and looks beautiful. Let's check the next picture and see. We did the chairs and somehow it was right there. So how does this make you feel when you finished and delivered something like this to somebody's home? Of course I have issues with the cushions, which is the person was asking, the attention to details. The one who did the cushion wasn't. So that's my house. I like to make sure that my things are done by Ugandans. So that's not an imported wood, just so you know. It's a wood created by these guys, and you can go into their workshop and give them business. Let's see another picture. And that it look like, right there. So they have improved the attention to details, as you can see, and I went for something called ironwood. You want to explain what ironwood is? I gave them some bloody nose, as they call it in Uganda. It was a difficult thing for them to... Yes, David, pick it up from there, yes.
Well, ironwood, actually, I think among all our customers, Eddie, you are the only person that has ironwood. And even if you move this country again, maybe you would find someone else from Sudan. This is ironwood particularly. This is a wood type from Sudan, from Central Sudan, from the Central Sudan forests mostly. It is a very hard piece of wood. It is too hard that even working it, you need to know it. And it's mostly worked by people from the north because they have access from it to it, so they've gotten time to experiment with it. In the central here,